journey begins today, now, at this moment, and we're going to deal with self-awareness. Hello, hello, my darlings. How are you doing? I hope you have a fantastic day, and welcome again to our second episode where we're dealing with a series towards elevating our lives. And yeah, in the first episode we did, we covered in audit, and today we're going. Our journey begins today, now, at this moment, and we're going to deal with self-awareness. And self-awareness, we can just say that basically self-awareness is the journey towards elevation. So the first step of elevating your life, it's because we want to know where we are in life and who we are. We need to be aware of our emotions. We need to be aware of the patterns and the cycles and the habits that we carry within us that hinder us from achieving our greatness, that also block, the path towards our growth and success. And I want to emphasize that self-awareness is the foundation that you can't change or elevate what you cannot recognize, or what you don't first recognize. So you have to recognize what's going within your life, what is going within your emotions, what is going on within, in every areas of your life. And you remember, like when we dealt about, when I talked about inner audit and the worksheets, I gave you 7 areas that you really have to rate yourself so that you can know where you are. So you just basically need to pick one area, and as we dive into self-awareness, and I would also probably advise people to pick probably a mindset and emotions. I think that's the very key thing that sometimes people struggle with, the mindset and emotions. And it's going to help you by the end of this self-awareness series. It is going to help you identify your patterns, your values, and also your blind spots. So why does self-awareness matters? One, it's because it gives us clarity of direction. It helps you to know where you're starting from. It also helps you to know where your blind spots are and how you can navigate that. So the second, it's the emotional mastery. So you're aware of your triggers and also how you respond, and also how that gives you power over them. So without having the emotional mastery, you'll always find blockages in all areas that you want to work out. Whatever success, whatever growth that you want, whatever skill, you need to have that emotional mastery with you. And it really matters in these levels when you're trying to level up. So the third thing, it's the alignment with purpose. So it shows your daily actions, your daily steps that you need to take that's going to unleash. That's why I said on our first episode, we need to highlight and write down our core values. If you don't know what your core values are, then you're not going to be able to align with your purpose. So the fourth one, it's the growth catalyst. So the more you know yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to transform. So you cannot transform something that you're not aware of. You cannot succeed in something that you don't really know how to go about it, or go or walk into the challenges that you're going to get. Because let me tell you, even as much as we're trying to build our confidence, to tap into our awareness, to try to enhance our skills, still you're going to find challenges. And it's in those challenges that you have to be aware of what's happening, even in your emotional and in your mindset. Otherwise, if you're not aware about that, it's going to be very hard for you to transform yourself. So it's very crucial to learn how to navigate through challenges, and also know when some certain emotions comes up. You have to write down, you have to practice the art of journaling, so that you always journal the feelings, the emotions, that are coming up for you when you're dealing with your challenges. So that is very crucial when it comes to, elevating your life. So let me also say that we do have 5 practical steps to build your self-awareness, and I'm going to share that with you. One, it's daily reflection. So now you look at the inner audit worksheet that I talked about, where we have 7 areas of our lives that we have to deal with. In each, whatever area that you want to pick, for instance, mindset and emotion, you have to have a practice of daily reflection. So journal about your thoughts, your wins and your struggles. Were you able to move past those probably negative emotions that are coming up for you? Were you able to navigate through whatever challenge that maybe it's, the mindset as well, negative thought patterns that are coming when you're trying to, probably elevate or even try to enroll in something, try to start a new business, try a new lifestyle, wherever, when it comes to health and wellness, when it comes to relationships. Are you feeling like you're left out, or the all kind of people that you attract, it's just, people who are just out there to annoy you and all that? So you have to always have a practice of daily reflection, and this brings awareness. So you're very aware of what's happening within your inner world, as much as, like, because I said, whatever you're getting into your life, it's a reflection of your inner world. So you have to write it down so that you can know where things are quite unbalanced and how to move past that. So the second practical step to build your self-awareness, it's ask why more often. So question the choices and the habits. You have to have a tendency of questioning, why do I want even to work in this area of my life? Why do I want to improve my mindset? Why do I need a new skill? So, and also the habits that I'm forming. So you have to look at them very well and question them always, always. So the other thing is seek feedback. Remember, when we talked about the inner audit, I said that you write like 5 people that you really trust in your life. I hope you did that. So these are the people that you're going to go back and ask, because when you seek advice, you're asking advice from trusted people and how they experience you. So, and also these are the people that you're going to pick for your as a accountability partner. So you have to pick people who are going to tell you the truth. And also now you have to be in a space where when they tell you the truth, you're not going to be defensive. You're going to be willing and receptive to open that truth. And also, because you cannot work yourself out alone. You need to have people, you need to have friends who are going to tell you, okay, fine, I think when you do this or when you don't do this, this is the results you might get. And this is how you like show up. So when things are not working for you, and this is how you show up when things are working for you, you need to have trusted people. So the other thing is to practice mindfulness and pay attention to your thoughts without judgment. And there's so many people of us out here, they're running in autopilot. We do not set a time to be in a space, in our own space. We're always on the move. We want to be with people. We want to be scrolling up and down on social media. You don't have time to kind of like pay attention to your thoughts. So for you to build self-awareness, you need to, like, I would say, set like 10 minutes per day, every day. It could be in the morning, could be at the afternoon, or even in the evening. Whichever day of you choose, it's up to you. But just make sure that 10 minutes of your own, where there's nobody, no distractions, and you're just there with your thoughts. Whatever comes up, journal, write it down. It might not make sense now, but it's going to make sense later on. So the 5 practical steps towards building your self-awareness, it's track your triggers. Notice what upsets you. Notice what excites you. Notice what drains you. So remember in the inner audit worksheet, and if you don't have that worksheet, you can just send me an email through jeriwakimani thebrand at gmail.com, and I can send you that inner audit worksheet, so that because we do have energy drains and energy we have a column of energy drains and energy leak. So it is in that paper you're going to write down and reflect back and journal there, where how you feel in something in certain way, where how you feel, how some things or some people make you feel in certain ways, if that makes sense. So it's very important to always track your triggers. So if you're aware of your triggers, you're going to be aware of how to show up. Like myself, when I feel some type of way, I don't like to talk with people a lot until I fix whatever I'm dealing with internally, because I might show it off to other people. I might go and start, spreading my negativity or whatever thing, whatever negativity I'm dealing with, or whatever struggle that I'm with. So I'm the kind of a person that just like to, hibernate and work that on my own. So that I do not start leaking that energy towards other people. And energy is really, like, it's, you can literally throw off other people that who are in vibrating very high, not unless they have a very higher sense of vibration, and they've mastered the art of, like, dealing with their emotions and controlling themselves. But in most cases, you might find, like, you're just, distributing your negativity around, and which is not good. So you need to know what your triggers are, and how you need to operate, how you need to show up, how you need to walk past, those influences. So let me mention that we have the do's and the don'ts when it comes to self-awareness. So the do's, let me talk about the two do's. So accept what you discover with passion. You need to be very compassionate towards yourself. Remember, at the beginning of this episode, I said we need to be very gentle with ourselves. We're not hammering ourselves. We want to learn and grow. And it's through facing, our fears, through facing our challenges, through facing our traumas, our triggers. That's the only way we can be able to build ourselves and learn, relearn, and practice wherever we've learned, and then we're going to go see some growth. And the second do, it's use the self-awareness as a mirror, not, like I said, as a hammer, not a hammer. We're not going to bring ourselves down. Use it as a mirror. So you're mirroring yourself. You're seeing where you need to do more, where you need to, work more internally before you start, moving into the business of, going to look to dive into new relationships and all that. So the two don'ts I will share, it's don't compare your journey with someone else's. So we all have different ratings in those 7 areas that I mentioned in our last episode, and each and every one is walking their life differently, and we are supposed to be here dealing with different callings and all that. So my journey might not be your journey. Your experiences might not be my experiences. So do not compare yourself, even with your best friends, even with your fiancé. You are you, and you're very unique, and you have unique gifts and talents. So compare yourself with the person that you were yesterday. The other don't stay stuck in analyzing without action. So as much as we went and wrote down our ratings, so what is the next step? What is the action you're going to take? Don't stay there analyzing it for too long. You need to analyze and then come up with a plan. And before the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you some tools, right? So stay with me. Stay with me. So let me talk about, let me pick mindset and emotion from our worksheet. So when it comes like emotions, and you struggle with emotions a lot, your emotions are balanced and balanced. You're happy. The other time you're crying and all that. So there are kind of like 3 reflective questions, or even journal prompts I will bring out to you. So what are the top 3 emotions you feel most of the time when you want to try something new, when someone says something that upsets you? So you have to mention that, you have to write that, you have to bring that emotion onto the table, so that you'll be able to work with it. You'll be able to learn how to navigate it. So when someone is really trying to be on my neck, how do I feel? Listen also to your body. Our body tells us a lot. It's only sometimes you're not aware. And when it comes to self-awareness, the body will always show you, the signs here and there. Even when you're battling anxiety, you'll feel some type of way in your body. So you have, as much as we're working through our emotions, we have as well to listen to our body, because our body speaks and then emotions shows up. So a lot of us don't like listening to our body. So we are on the move, we are on the go, operating on autopilot, and being overwhelmed and all that. And then what happens? Burnout. Sometimes you've started a course, you can't even complete it. Sometimes you find that you're dealing with burnout. You're trying to balance your life, and then the emotions goes wild on you. So make it a habit of, asking yourself how you're feeling. So how is your body feeling as well? So what are the top three emotions that came up today as I was, doing my project? So what were the top three emotions I felt most this week? Because if you're not able, if this is the beginning of you trying to learn how to journal, so I would say that you can try to do it once a week, like on a Sunday when you're not busy. So, and just for bring that question to yourself, and what are the top three emotions I felt this week, and why? You have to state your why. You have to know, why was I triggered, or why did I behave the way I behaved? Why did my body felt the way it felt? The other thing is, what habits no longer serve me? So when it comes to, let's say, for instance, mindset, why do I have these occurring negative patterns? So what are these habits that makes me always feel like, I'm always, going from one space, trying to say affirmations, but then I'm taking myself back towards negative influences. So what are these habits that no longer serve me? You have to write them down. And how do others describe me? And does it align with how I see myself? Because that as well, it's going to influence your mindset. So if you like, you're all the kind of a person, you're always the kind of a person that struggles a lot with what people think about me, how they see me, and all that, that definitely is going to affect your mindset. So you have to learn how to, first of all, take advice from yourself. Know that before you think about how other people think about you, how do you think about yourself? How do you, as myself as Jerry, how do I think about myself? Without even caring what the outside world think about me. So what really matters here, it's how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. So before you even begin to look at, if how people are going to describe you, and does it align with yourself, does it align with your core values and all that. But it's very also important to know how others describe you, because also that it's more like a mirror for you. Although we have some people who are quite negative, but I would say just look at it in a point of trying to grow, because people who want to see you do well in life, they're going to tell you, and they're going to show you who you really are, and they're going to describe to you. That's why I said you need to have like top three or even two people that you really trust, and they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to describe you. They're going to tell you who you are before you even go, worrying about how there are other people in the outside world, how they look at you, how they see you. So these are very three things that you really have to work on, and they're going to enhance your self-awareness all the time. They're going to enhance your awareness. So I think now I'm going to deep dive into building self-awareness in your journey of growth. And why does it really, like I said, it matters a lot, and I cannot fail to emphasize on that, because for one, you see yourself clearly, because you see your thoughts, you see your emotions, your values, your habits, and your motivations. So you're able to see clearly who you are, what motivates you, how your patterns are going on, how they are, running at the back of your subconscious mind. The other thing, you understand how to show up. You understand how to show up in relationships, at work, and also in everyday life. A lot of us sometimes don't know how to show up in relationships. That's why we are struggling with relationships. We are moving from one relationship to the other. And the reason could be it's not the other person who's bad. It could be not, they're not able to deal with you. It could be you're the person who's quite difficult to deal with. So that's why I said it's very important to analyze yourself. Very important. The other thing, uh, it's because it's going to help us to recognize our blind spot. So, what the blind spots are the things that hold you back. So, the more you practice the art of journaling, especially when it comes to the blind spots, what holds you back, you'll be able to create an a space where, or even you're going to come up with a style to learn how to kind of like overturn that, right? So, and it's not just knowing yourself, It's also meeting yourself. It's meeting yourself with honesty, with growth mindset and mindedness. So we are meeting our higher selves, the future us, with a lot of honesty. It's not just knowing who you are or knowing your weaknesses and then start beating yourself, feeling discouraged and all that. No. So let me now mention about the 4 levels of self-awareness, which are very important towards this series. One is the surface awareness, so becoming aware of your behaviors and your habits. Why do you behave the way you behave? Why do you show up the way you show up to the world? So why do you have the habits that you do have? That's what we call surface awareness. Second, it's the emotional awareness. Are you able to identify and name your feelings and triggers? Some of us, you might ask them, how are you feeling? I don't know. I can't explain. So you need to identify and name your feeling and the triggers that affect you in day-to-day life. The third thing, the level, it's value awareness. So understand what truly matters to you. So why do you even want to work in those one of those 7 areas of life? Is it going to add value to you? So does it really matter to you? So you have to ask yourself those questions because these are level of self-awareness. The fourth one, it's deep awareness, where you recognize your purpose, your patterns, and your blind spot. If you're not able to recognize your purpose or even your patterns, and while you're struggling in life, what we call blind spots, it's going to be very hard for you to, to grow. It is going to be hard for you. But once you're able to recognize, okay, this is the calling, this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life, or this is who I want to become. So what are the patterns do I have that hinder me from being the person that I want to be, from achieving that success that I want to achieve? So what are the blind spots that I'm struggling with? So you have to have that deep awareness, which is the fourth level of self-awareness. And the way we can step to build that, it's to build all those 4 self-awareness levels. It's one, pause and reflect daily. Take 5 to 10 minutes. What did I feel today? So what triggered me? What worked? What didn't work? So journal is a powerful tool. And the tool here we're going to use, it's daily reflection journal. So journal is one of our tools that's going to help us in growth. The second thing, ask why behind your actions, right? And I think I mentioned that. So instead of just doing things, pause and question, why did I say yes when I was supposed to say no? Why do I procrastinate on certain tasks? So the tool that we're going to use here, it's the 5 why exercise. So ask why 5 times until you uncover the root cause. So it's called the 5 why exercise. That is the tool that we're going to use to build our self-awareness. The third thing, like I mentioned, it's seek honest feedback. And sometimes others often can see what we do not see. And this has to be trusted people, mentors, colleagues, or friends. So ask them, what's one strength you admire in me? And they're going to tell you. And what's one blind spot you notice? Because sometimes we don't really see ourselves. So the tool we're going to use here, it's 360-degree feedback, or what we call a reflection circle. So in all the areas of your life that you want to work, wherever we want to work, go and have an honest feedback. So it's very important, yeah, when you hear from other people. So the other 4th thing, it's practice mindfulness and observation. So train yourself to notice your thoughts, like I've said, without judging them. It's going to create a space between a stimulus, yeah, that's the way we pronounce it, and response. So the tool, it's breath awareness practice. I don't know if you do take time to take a deep breath and you release them, you breathe slowly and simply just observe your thoughts. And there are people that deal with monkey mind, yeah. So if you're not the kind of person that can just sit still and listen to the thoughts that are coming in, or the downloads that you're getting, you need to practice breath practices basically just, being with yourself where there is no distractions, and start for 3 minutes. Breathe slowly, breathe in, breathe out slowly, slowly, and observe what's coming up. If the monkey mind is just monkey chatters, not monkey mind, I'm sorry. Monkey chatters are really so bad for you. Continue, do not give up, because it's the beginning of a new thing. So obviously, something is going to be opposed, because your body is not used to that. So your mind is not even used to that. So it might reject it for now, but if you keep on practicing that, you're going to be able to calm yourself down. Myself, sometimes I struggle with a monkey chatters, but what I do, I just sit there, I breathe in, I breathe out, I let it come, I calm down. Once I'm calmed down and I'm not in a stressful environment, I start to observe now the thoughts that are coming in. So that's the only way you can be able to practice mindfulness and observation. So we've talked about track patterns and triggers. So notice the repeating cycles in your life. Do you always avoid conflicts? There are people who avoid conflict so much. So are you always overcommitted? Some of us, we overcommit ourselves to doing stuff. So write down these things and look for things. So the tool that we're going to use here is create 2 columns: trigger and my responses. So you write down your triggers, then you write down your responses. The sixth one, it's clarify your core values. And like I said in our first episode where we talked about inner audit, that's why I emphasized you have to write down your core values, because growth is impossible without knowing what you stand for. So you have to be directed by your always in everything that you do, whatever opportunity comes for you, wherever trainings that you want to do, you have to be directed by your core values. And within your core values, you stand, whatever core values you have, that's what you stand for. So you need to be aware of that. So the tool is the core value discovery exercise. Write them, from narrow to top 3. The high, those that are non-negotiables. Work with the top 3 of them. So if you feel like you're so overwhelmed about that, just work with the top 3, and it should work for you. So create alignment plan. So once you know your values and your pattern, ask, how can I realign my actions with who I want to be? So in this case, you just set one small weekly action and honor your true self. And this is why I said we need an accountability partner. As much as sometimes we don't want to let people know what we're doing, but you're not just having an accountability partner, you're just having someone that you trust, that's going to work with you on your journey, someone who's going to celebrate you when you're winning, when when they see your small growth. It doesn't matter, whatever tiny growth it is something, and you've worked hard for it. So the tool here is the self-awareness action plan. So you need to create an action plan for yourself. So what is that one goal, however small or mighty it is, that you're going to take action on so that you can honor yourself? And through, practicing through the practical tools and exercises, you'll be able to learn how to navigate through life, and whatever success you need, whatever um, it could be, probably in the 7 areas of your life. If you have whatever blind spots that you're dealing with, you're going to be able to learn to be aware of it, and then you can choose any of these tools that I've talked about, and then you try to work onto it. And just know that you need to show yourself some grace. You need to be aware that life is it's a lifelong journey, and it evolves as you grow. So the more you understand yourself, the more power you gain. And for you to design a life that elevates you beyond your limitations, we have to have this self-awareness toolkit. So create a space for you to learn how your emotions and your patterns and your mindset operate, because this is the key thing. That it's more like a drive. It's a drive through for success. If someone who's not able to handle their mindset and handle their emotions, they're just gonna fail, or they'll be all over the place. They'll always be running in circle. They'll never start something and finish it. So that's why it's very important to be self-aware. And my darlings, that's the end of our episode, and I hope I'm going to see you on the third episode. So I hope that you're going to do the work and give yourself some grace, and just know that every day is a learning experience, and be compassionate towards yourself. So have a good and a lovely day ahead. Bye.